Everything was perfect. The flight was smooth, then a small shudder. But the second one, it wasn't a bump, it was a tear. Dark shadow, he was carrying Timmy. My arms, they're soaked in blood. I start with my hands and my eyes. The luggage around me becomes a resource. The hut is starting to take shape. I lie down on the rough wooden bed between all those ancient trees. My son is waiting.
I opened my eyes onto the platform when I saw it, across the river, a shape upright, moving between the trees on the far bank with that same horrible, unhurried calm. 2 days in this forest now. I set the crossbow down next to me and stared at the dark between the trees until my eyes got heavy. Tomorrow I find out what's really in this forest. Morning. Third one in this forest. The birdhouse was empty, no visitors yet, just the sound of the wind moving through the trees and the fire breathing its last before I fed it again. I loaded logs onto the carrier. Set my breakfast to cook. Fish, again. It's not a complaint. It's fuel, and fuel keeps me moving, and moving keeps me alive. While the food heated, I went back to the platform, extended it further, reinforced the edges. Practical work. The kind that keeps your hands busy and lets your mind run just beneath the surface without boiling over. I ate. I packed up. I headed to the pond. Fish stock was running low. I couldn't afford to let it drop further. Protein is the difference between sharp thinking and slow thinking, and out here slow thinking gets you killed. I pulled several from the water in quick succession. A lizard scrambled past the bank and I went after it, but it was faster. Let it go, picked up my catch and moved on. Some battles aren't worth the energy they cost. I was working on the platform extension when they appeared, at the tree line. 3 of them, maybe 4, standing mostly upright, the way people stand, but something about the proportions was wrong. The way they moved was wrong. They looked almost human. They didn't charge, they just watched. I kept working, eyes forward, axe ready, hands never stopping. I don't know if ignoring them was brave or stupid, probably both. But I've already seen what panic costs out here, and I can't afford it. Whatever they are, they haven't attacked yet. When that changes, I'll deal with it then. The wind picked up around midday, strong enough to push through camp and scatter loose leaves off the platform. I cut some broad ones from nearby shrubs. You never know what you'll need them for later. Out here, nothing is useless if you think about it long enough. Afternoon was settling in. I needed to think about tonight, about where I was sleeping, about pushing further into the forest than I'd gone before. I had been staying close to the crash site, my comfort zone, such as it was. But comfort zone isn't gonna find Timmy. Time to go further. I pushed deeper in and the forest pushed back with more forest. Then I found them. 3, maybe 4 huts clustered together in a small clearing. Not ruins exactly, just abandoned, left mid-life, the way places look when people had to leave in a hurry and didn't come back. Luggage everywhere, scattered like the aftermath of something. Clothes, real clothes, folded ones, which meant someone had been living here with enough order in their life to fold laundry. That detail caught me more than I expected. I took what was useful and left the rest exactly as I found it. Then I climbed one of the trees near the cluster as high as I dared. I needed to understand the geography of this place, how big it actually was, whether there were landmarks, coastlines, anything that could give me a frame for where I was and what direction made sense for searching. From up there, trees, more trees, and then afar off, the glint of a river, wider than the one near camp. I came down and walked over to it. The photographs were of a boat. I looked at them for a long time. The forest eventually gave way to open sky, and open sky gave way to the sea. I hadn't expected the sea. Somehow, through all of this, I'd been thinking of the crash site as the center of a contained place, a forest with edges I could eventually map. There were shark fins cutting the surface near the shore, 2, 3 of them, patient circles. I gave them a wide berth, then a turtle, moving slowly along the shallows with that ancient, unhurried dignity that turtles have. I needed the shell. It's a hard thing to explain to someone who hasn't been in a situation like this. How you can feel genuine respect for an animal and still make the practical decision. I made the decision. I separated the shell carefully. Every part of it was useful. And then I saw the yacht. It was anchored a short distance offshore, listing slightly, salt-worn, old, but there, real, solid. I swam for it. Inside, the particular silence of a space that used to be lived in. A bunk, supplies still in their places, and on the small shelf above the navigation desk, a yachting magazine, damp at the edges, the cover half faded. On the milk box near the galley, someone had taped a photograph, a missing person notice. I stood there reading it and didn't move for a full minute. So I'm not the first. Whatever is happening in this forest has happened before, to other people who were also looking for someone. I went through everything on that boat, organized what I found, noted the bunk, a real one with a mattress. I thought about staying. The boat was dead in the water. Locked door, no engine, no way to move it. Even if it ran, where would I go? Back to the mainland without Timmy? No. I will find my son, and then we leave. Together, not before. I collected what I needed and swam back to shore. I almost walked straight into it. The creature came from the left, fast, aggressive, nothing like the watchers at the tree line this morning. This one had committed to the confrontation entirely, and I had maybe a second to respond before it was on me. I hit it, hard, several times. It absorbed more punishment than I expected anything to absorb, but so had I these past 3 days. So maybe that's just what this place makes of things. Resilient, damaged, still moving. I grabbed it when it slowed, and I finished it. I stood over it, breathing hard, axe in hand, and took a moment. That was my first real fight in this forest, not counting the crash, not counting whatever I've been doing to survive. This was different. This was direct. This was something that wanted me dead, and I didn't let it. I filed that feeling away carefully. I'm going to need it again. Further along the coast, I found more camps. Not just one, several. Rough shelters, fire pits, the bones of survival efforts left by people I'll never meet. I'm not the only survivor. That was confirmed now, solidly. But I'm the only one still moving through this forest today. I checked every abandoned camp for anything useful. An empty message container. Someone had tried to leave word, but the contents were gone or never filled. A second stretch of coastline, different from the first, with a different broken boat grounded in the shallows. I tried to approach something I spotted near the waterline. An animal, quick, and went for it with the crossbow, but it was gone before I could line up the shot. Crossbow needs more practice. Noted. I found containers nearby. Metal ones, the industrial kind. Solid walls. And something in me shifted. The practical part that's been running quiet calculations since day one said, here. Tonight, you stay here. One of these containers is a shelter you don't have to build from scratch. Walls already up. One entrance. Defensible. The sun was dropping fast. I needed sticks. Specific number. The temporary shelter inside the container required them, and I was short. 2, maybe 5 short. And the light was already gone from the sky. I tried the lighter. It lit fine. It just didn't give me enough to work by. The flame was too small for the task, and the darkness was too complete. I held the axe blade to the flame and tried to make a torch out of it, which was about as effective as it sounds. Enough to see, not enough to be comfortable. The worst part wasn't the dark. The worst part was the thought of those creatures. The Watchers, the fighter from this afternoon, and what they do when night is fully down and someone is stumbling around trying to count sticks by firelight. I moved fast, stayed low, kept the flame close. Then I found it, a weak tree at the edge of the container clearing. Half dead, dry, easy to bring down. The sticks it gave me were exactly what I needed. I counted them twice to be sure. Back inside the container. Shelter assembled, not pretty, not warm, but enclosed, and enclosed is enough for tonight. I sat with my back against the metal wall and listened to the forest outside. Somewhere in it, Timmy, waiting. I closed my eyes. The metal walls held.